Okay, welcome back. And our two guests, Ayodele Adio. Maybe I should actually have said, Ayodele, hang on a moment. Let me just say, Moji Daramola, ladies first. Moji Daramola, public affairs analyst in Lagos, and Ayodele Adio. So I had cut away from you, Moji. I suppose getting a bit ahead of ourselves after the event today, APC now has a presidential flag bearer. So getting a bit ahead of ourselves, we're going to need to start thinking about a running mate, right? You got any ideas on that? That's the next thing that we're going to be thinking about. But go ahead.
Yes, but I think the flag bearer obviously has made many alliances, and but just by way of thinking ahead, like you said, probably a region to consider would be the North, because of the presidential flag bearer of PDP, and another region to be considered is the East, the core East,
the Southeast,
or Southeast. Yes, the Southeast, so to speak. For obvious reasons, many believe that the APC ticket should have been zoned to that. But then that's the conundrum, that's the lacuna that APC had faced before these primaries, because obviously, even though they might have thought about a Southeast ticket ahead, but because of the PDP flag bearer, they need to think about the numbers, the vast numbers in the North of voters who will be considered to the PDP if they don't have a strong aspirant or candidate that could give the PDP candidate a run for his money. So those are the main areas or regions, geopolitical regions, that we are expecting that the vice president will come from.
Okay, Ayodele, I don't know how much of a tough one it is, but a friend of mine said to me that he's noticed that in all the consultations of Asiwaju, he didn't come to my friend is from Anambra State. He didn't come to my area. Ayodele, I'm throwing you that one. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
A friend of mine who's an Anambrarian was complaining that Asiwaju didn't come to our zone. He didn't come to our area at all. What do you think?
I can't speak for his campaign, but I would figure that, they couldn't cover, as all of the grounds in such a short period of time. But the truth is, his vice presidential slot will prove a huge conundrum. And I say that because Asiwaju Bola Ahmed is a Muslim from Lagos State. And if you look at the numbers closely, if he would have to win, if he would have to defeat Atiku Abubakar, the odds will say that he has to pick a vice presidential candidate from the northwestern part of the country, so that at least he can compete favorably with Atiku in the north and get a chunk of those votes while he holds sway in the southwest. Now, the question he would ask, of course, is, are you going to find a northern Christian, for instance, who is able to hold the cards or hold the region down, as well as the northern Muslims, who some are governors at the moment, and I'm talking El Rufai, Ganduje, Zulum, many of the governors who have supported him. So it's a very tricky one for Asiwaju, and he doesn't want to just simply give easy ammunitions to the opposition.
Yeah.
If he decides to run with a Muslim ticket, that would be easy ammunition for the opposition. So, it's not. I can imagine that his strategy room will be thinking round the clock to find how to cut through that glass. But it's a very, very tricky one for him, because the path to victory is for him to hold down the southwest, to pick up a few numbers in the middle belt, and of course to have a good amount of votes in the north. And I'm talking about 35% votes across the north, for him to pull off an offset and to defeat Atiku Abubakar. And to get 35% of northern votes, you just have no way around it except having a northern VP on that ticket. And that's where the tricky part comes.
Okay. Moji, as we're fast running out of time now, but I'll still be able to ask both of you this question. That of healing within the party. I imagine that, well, right now we can be backslabbing and all of that, now that it's all over and it has ended, transparent, something of an exemplar, the kind of exercise that was conducted. But they're going to have to go to healing right now, right? So many things were done, so many things might have been said, or so many things were not done, and so many things were not said, and there's going to have to be healing. So, but then somebody, I think I heard Tunji Bello, a commissioner in Lagos, a former, secretary to the government in Lagos and a commissioner. He was saying that, well, Asiwaju is very much, he's so accommodating. Whatever the disagreement or misunderstanding is today is not the same tomorrow. Are you optimistic that Asiwaju can bring it all back together again into one happy family in spite of what happened?
Well, I hope so, for his sake and for the party's sake, because he's got he's got his task cut for him ahead. With what Ayodele has analyzed, with regards to its VP. And so within the party, healing has to take place. Reconciliation has to take place. People need to forget about their differences if they want to actually, come 2023, win the presidential ticket. Having said that, I would hope that Asiwaju would take a cue from even the party, all that transpired this past 2 days or the past 24 hours, so to speak. For me, I see some form of leadership, from the president, in that he didn't foist his own preferred candidate on the party, and just for the party to survive. And I think that anybody who is flag bearing now, as Asiwaju is, should be looking at that, the larger picture in terms of the party, the well-being of the party and what is good for the party. As a matter of fact, even Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Senate President, and all the other, so to speak, defeated candidates should be brought on the table as a party, and then re-strategize and find a way to move forward. So I think that's the way to go for APC come 2023 if they want to win.
Well, okay, I'm sure, just to touch base with Ayodele, I imagine you're on board with Moji's idea. Reconciliation is indispensable. If there's going to be success, you must have a harmonious party and vehicle with which to, prosecute your objective, right?
Absolutely, I completely agree with her. But I really don't think that there's so much work for Asiwaju to be done, really, because there's not so much of a fracture in the party. You don't win with that kind of margin in the party. I think that he enjoys the mandate of a lot of people within the party. But that being said, of course, the vice president will need to be brought back into the umbrella, same as Ahmed Lawal. But it's about interest now going forward. And it's the collective interest now. The party wants to win an election.
Okay.
Asiwaju also wants to win an election.
Well, I'm sorry, the audio has started playing up again, but nevertheless, we did hear you. I'm so sorry about that. The audio began to play up slightly again, but we did hear you. And I want to use this opportunity to say thank you very much to you, Ayodele Adio, Executive Editor, Avalon Daily, and to you, Moji Daramola, Public Affairs Analyst, who was in Lagos with us. Thank you both for coming on our program. And we're gonna have to leave it here, but in doing so,